Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are doing something a little bit different. Usually, we're looking at history or science to figure out how the world works. But today, we are looking at a prophecy.
Yeah, and it's a very grim, very specific prophecy.
Yeah.
We are exploring a world that is economically shattered, completely obsessed with screens, and just fueled by a really dark form of entertainment.
Right. We are staring down the barrel of a reality that was written back in 1982, but is set in the year 2025, which, depending on when you're listening to this, is right now. We are talking about the book The Running Man by Stephen King.
Writing under his pseudonym, of course, Richard Bachman. And just to be incredibly clear right up front, we are not talking about the movie.
Oh, absolutely not. No Arnold Schwarzenegger, no yellow jumpsuits, no opera-singing villains and dune buggies. If you have that image in your head, I need you to just go ahead and completely delete it.
Please do. We are digging into the original source material. And if you have only seen the movie, you are going to be shocked. I mean, the book is a completely different beast. It is darker, it's grittier, and honestly, it is a lot scarier because of how close it feels to our actual world.
It really isn't an action movie. It's a survival horror story about economics.
That is the perfect way to frame it. It is about being poor in a world designed exclusively for the rich. It's about the crushing weight of a system that sees human beings as raw material.
So here is our mission for today's deep dive.
Yeah.
We have a stack of notes, the original text, and some analyses of King's Bachman book's era. We are going to unpack this dystopian vision of 2025. We're going to look at the main character, Ben Richards, who is not a super soldier, by the way, and the totalitarian machine he's fighting against.
And we absolutely have to talk about the freebie.
Oh, the freebie is huge. It's essentially the glue that holds this whole nightmare society together. But before we get into the politics, let's talk about the structure of the book itself, because when you pick this book up, the first thing you notice isn't the story. It's the table of contents.
Right. It's the countdown.
Yeah, most books, you open them up and you see chapter 1. Or maybe a prologue. But not here.
No, King, or Bachman, I should say, starts us at -100 and counting. And the chapters just count down. -99, -98, -97, and so on.
It does something to you psychologically as a reader, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It creates this immediate, visceral sense of a ticking clock. In a normal book, you don't know when the climax is coming. You might be halfway through or near the end, but you don't have a specific number attached to your mortality. Here, you know exactly where you are. You are marching towards zero.
And in a dystopian novel like this, you get this sinking feeling that zero doesn't mean mission accomplished.
Right. Zero means the end. It adds this heavy layer of fatalism to every single page. You know the time is running out. It's a structural device that brilliantly mimics the premise of the game show itself. Time is the ultimate enemy.
So let's set the scene for you. It is 2025, but it's not the 2025 of Star Trek. There are no shiny white towers or utopian councils. King paints a picture of America that is just decaying. We start in a place called Co-op City. What is the vibe here?
Imagine a prison, but it is a city, and the guards are just sheer economics. It's incredibly bleak. King describes a world that is stratified to an extreme degree. You have the technicos, that's the term for the haves, the people with technical jobs, corporate connections, the people who matter, and then you have the masses, the unemployed.
And they aren't just unemployed, they are entirely unemployable.
Right. Automation and corporate consolidation have just wiped out the need for human labor. So you have millions of people living in these massive rotting developments. Co-op City is described as smelling of cabbage and urine and cheap wine. It is hot, it's crowded, and it is entirely hopeless.
And there's this detail about the currency that really stuck out to me in the sources. It's not just that people are poor. The money itself is physically broken.
Yes, the new dollars versus old bucks. This is such a smart piece of world building. New dollars are real money. That is what the technicos use. It is backed by the government and by the games network. Old bucks are what the poor use.
And they're essentially worthless, right?
Practically. It's hyperinflation money. You need a wheelbarrow of old bucks to buy a loaf of bread, whereas a few new dollars would buy you an absolute feast. It creates a caste system where upward mobility is impossible because you can't even save up real value. You are just trapped in a cycle of worthless paper.
And in every single apartment in Co-op City mandated by law is the freebie.
The ultimate control mechanism.
Explain the freebie for us, because it's not just a television set.
No, it's a mandatory propaganda outlet. If you live in a development apartment, which is basically government housing, you have to have this unit installed. And you can't really turn it off. It is the only thing that is free. In a world where food costs a fortune and where medicine is impossible to get, entertainment is the one thing the government shovels at you by the truckload.
The opiate of the masses.
Literally, it blares game shows, violent spectacles, and news programs that tell you everything is fine 24 hours a day. It keeps the population numb. If you are watching someone else suffer on TV, you aren't thinking about your own suffering, or at least that's the network's theory.
Which brings us to our protagonist, Ben Richards. He is sitting in this squalid apartment, the freebie is blaring, and he's just staring at a blank wall. Who is this guy?
He is a nobody, and that is actually really important. He's 28 years old. His scrawny king describes him as looking like a praying mantis. He is not a bodybuilder. He's unemployed, and worse than that, he's been blacklisted from his trade.
Why was he blacklisted?
Because he has a temper, and he's smart. That is a highly dangerous combination in this specific world. He questioned authority, he got in fights, and in a totalitarian corporate state that gets you completely erased from the workforce. So now he is just sitting there watching his life fall apart.
And he's not alone in that apartment. He's with his wife, Sheila, and their baby daughter, Kathy.
And this is the spark. This is the entire why of the story. Why would anyone volunteer to be hunted to death? It's not for glory. It is for Kathy.
The baby is sick.
She is very sick. It's the flu, potentially turning into pneumonia. King gives us the visceral detail. Her fever is 104 degrees. She's crying. She's delirious. In our world, you go to urgent care. You get antibiotics, or at least you get some Tylenol.
But in 2025, Co-op City are one.
You get nothing, unless you have new dollars. There is a scene where Sheila is holding a thermometer, and the tension is just unbearable. They are watching the mercury rise, and they know that the number on that glass stick could literally be a death sentence because they are completely broke.
Sheila mentions a block midwife at one point.
Right, a local woman with dirty fingernails who deals in superstition and maybe some black market aspirin. Richards won't have it. He looks at his daughter, and he knows she needs a real doctor. A technico doctor.
And then there's the realization of how they've actually been surviving up to this point. This part just crushed me when reading it. Sheila has been hustling.
It is brutal. Richards realizes that while he has been sitting around angry and unemployed, Sheila's been going out and prostituting herself for old bucks just to keep the electricity on. And that knowledge just eats him alive.
It's a massive masculine crisis for him, isn't it?
Deeply. He feels like he has entirely failed as a protector. He looks at his sick child, he looks at his wife who is degrading herself to feed them, and he finally snaps. He decides he cannot live like this for one more second. He has to get new dollars, and he has to get them fast.
So he decides to go to the Games Network.
It's the lottery. It's the only path out. He knows the games pay out in new dollars. He doesn't know what game he'll get selected for, but he knows they pay.
But he has an idea of what he's signing up for, because he's been watching the freebie before he leaves. Let's talk about the shows he actually sees on there, because this tells us everything we need to know about what society wants. Treadmill to bucks.
Treadmill to bucks. It is exactly what it sounds like. They find contestants who are chronic heart, liver, or lung patients, people who are already actively dying, and they put them on a treadmill.
And what are the rules of that one?
Every minute they stay on the treadmill, they win $10. But they have to answer trivia questions while running. If they get a question wrong, the treadmill speeds up. If they get it right, it stays steady. But eventually, they just can't keep up.
And the audience is watching this happen live.
The audience is cheering. They aren't horrified at all. They are delighted. They are waiting for the heart attack. They are waiting for the exact moment the person collapses. It is essentially a snuff film disguised as a daytime quiz show.
There's another one mentioned too, Swim the Crocodiles.
Right. Subtlety is completely dead in 2025. You swim with crocodiles. If you make it you get money. If you don't, well, the ratings go up.
So Richards knows this. He knows that by walking out that door, he is offering himself up as meat for this massive machine.
He does. And the goodbye scene with Sheila is heartbreaking because he can't really tell her what he is doing. He just leaves. He steps out into the smog of Co-op City and heads for the monolith.
The Games Network building.
Yes, it's the tallest thing in the city. 100 stories of glass and steel towering over the slums. It is a physical representation of the power dynamic. The gods live in the tower, and the insects live in the shadow.
Let's walk through the selection process now, because it's not like he just walks in and signs a waiver. It is an absolute gauntlet.
It's designed to weed out the weak, but also to properly classify the victims. Richards joins a line of thousands of desperate people. It is pure chaos. The game's police are beating people back with riot sticks. It's dehumanizing from step one.
They treat them like cattle.
Worse than cattle, honestly. Cattle actually have value. These people are entirely expendable. Richards waits in line for hours. He is hungry, he's tired. But unlike the other people in line who are begging or crying, Richards is getting colder. He is getting angrier.
That anger is his superpower in a way.
It is. Most people are beaten down by the system. Richards is the one guy who still genuinely wants to punch back.
There is a pivotal scene during the testing phase. He finally gets in front of a psychologist or a screening doctor, and they do a word association test.
This is one of my favorite parts of the book because it shows you exactly who Ben Richards is. The doctor is bored, just going through the motions. He says a word, and Richards is supposed to say the first thing that comes to mind.
The doctor says doctor.
And Richards says a racial slur.
Right. It's shocking.
He uses it to equate the social status. He is basically saying, you think you are above me, I am dragging you down into the filth. He's weaponizing language to show his absolute contempt for the authority figure sitting in front of him.
Then the doctor says game.
And Richards says rigged.
He is literally telling them he knows it's a scam while actively auditioning for the scam.
He is spitting in their faces. He insults the doctor's mother. He's physically aggressive. You would think in any logical system, security would just drag him out and throw him in the alley.
But they don't do that.
No. And this is the brilliant twist. The system is so deeply cynical that his hatred is actually an asset. They classify him. He gets a red stamp or a specific code on his file. They mark him as smart and hostile.
Why do they want a hostile contestant?
Because nobody wants to watch a sheep get slaughtered. That's boring television. They want a wolf. They want someone the audience can genuinely fear and hate. If the contestant is a bad guy, then the audience feels completely justified about watching him die. It excuses the violence.
So his rebellion actually traps him deeper in the machine.
Exactly. Paradoxically, if he'd been nice and submissive, he probably would have been rejected or put on some low-stakes show like Treadmill to Bucks. Because he was a real threat, he qualified for the main event.
And the man who ultimately makes that decision is Dan Killian.
The executive producer. The absolute chief of the games.
Describe Killian for the listeners. Because he's not your typical cackling villain.
No, and that is what makes him so terrifying. He is an executive. He is calm. He is well-dressed. He's soft-spoken. He sits in this massive office at the top of the tower with real air conditioning, which is a huge luxury. And he looks at Richards like a specimen in a jar.
He calls Richards an anachronism.
A dinosaur. He tells Richards, you don't belong here. He means that Richards is a throwback to a time when people had dignity or grit or whatever you want to call it. The modern man of 2025 is soft, compliant, sedated by the freebie. Richards is raw wire.
Killian almost seems to admire him, though.
He does. It's this weird, genuine respect. He says, you're dangerous, and that's exactly what we need. He offers Richards a drink, a cigarette. He treats him like a peer for a brief moment before he ultimately sentences him to death.
And the sentence is The Running Man. This is the flagship show. The Super Bowl of suffering.
It is the highest payout and the lowest survival rate. The premise is incredibly simple and completely terrifying.
Lay out the rules for us. Because the mechanics of the game drive the entire plot.
Okay. Rule number 1 is Ben Richards is declared a public enemy. His face is plastered on every single screen in America.
Rule number 2 is the head start.
Right. He gets 12 hours. They give him some seed money, new dollars, and they open the door. He can go absolutely anywhere he wants in the world.
And how does he actually make money?
Through survival time. For every hour he stays alive and free, he earns 100 new dollars. That money goes directly into a bonded account for his family.
100 an hour. That is $2,400 a day. In a world where people are starving, that is a massive fortune.
It is life-changing wealth. If he lasts a week, his family is set for life. But here's the kicker. Here is why nobody ever lasts a week. The entire public is deputized.
The ultimate see something, say something from hell.
If a regular citizen sees Richards and calls in a tip, a sighting, they get $100 just for making a phone call.
But if they stop him,
if their sighting directly leads to a kill, or if they manage to kill him themselves, they get $1,000.
So literally every single person he passes on the street, a grandmother, a school kid, a bus driver, is a potential assassin.
He is walking through a world made entirely of bounty hunters. And remember, these people are desperate. They are starving. $1,000 is like winning the lottery for them. They will gladly tear him apart for that money.
There is one more rule that makes it even harder. He can't just find a hole in the ground and hide for a month.
Right, because that would be boring TV.
Yeah.
He has to constantly prove he is alive. He is given a portable video camera and a stack of video cassette tapes. He has to record 2 10-minute tapes every single day and actually mail them back to the network.
And if he misses a mailing,
The money stops entirely. He forfeits everything. So he is forced to surface. He is forced to interact with the postal system twice a day, every single day.
Brilliantly evil game design. It forces the prey to constantly expose himself to the hunters.
It ensures movement. It ensures conflict. And it ensures that the show always has fresh footage to air every night.
So Killian explains all this to him. Richards signs the contract, and then they begin the pre-game show. This is where the media manipulation really kicks into high gear.
They take photos of him, but they aren't just regular headshots. They put him in makeup. They squint his eyes. They deeply shadow his face. They actively make him look like a thug.
They call him a subhuman.
Exactly. They are constructing a narrative. They tell the audience that Richards is a violent criminal, a degenerate. They don't mention his sick daughter at all. They don't mention the poverty. They paint him as an absolute monster so the audience won't feel guilty when he gets gunned down.
There's the host of the show, Bobby Thompson.
The ultimate hype man. He is screaming at the audience, whipping them into an absolute frenzy. He's yelling, who wants to see him run? Who wants to see him bleed? And the audience is just screaming back, kill him, kill him.
It's pure mob mentality.
It is the 2 minutes of hate. Richards is watching this happening on a monitor backstage. He sees thousands of people cheering for his death. And he realizes he's not just fighting the police. He is fighting the entire culture.
So the countdown begins. Minus 100. He is released into the city. He has his 12-hour head start. Where does he go first?
Well, he knows he needs to get out of the immediate vicinity, but he also knows he needs tools. He heads to New York first, but his main goal is just to get lost in the urban sprawl. He desperately needs a disguise.
He goes to a contact, right? A fence named Molly Jernigan.
Right. This is our first real glimpse into the criminal underworld of 2025. Molly is a nervous guy. He deals in stolen goods, fake IDs. Richard shows up, and Molly is absolutely terrified.
Because he recognizes him.
Everyone recognizes him. His face is on every freebie in the country. Molly knows that helping Richards is a death sentence if he gets caught. But Richards uses the one piece of leverage he has, which is money. He has that seed money from the network.
He buys false papers. He becomes John Griffin Springer.
He gets a new name, some work clothes, maybe dyes his hair. But the disguise is really flimsy. In a world of digital surveillance and mass paranoia, putting on a pair of glasses isn't as effective as it used to be. The paranoia is the real enemy here. Every time someone looks at him, he thinks they know.
Richards moves from New York to Boston. And this is where the chase really starts to tighten. He checks into a YMCA.
The Boston YMCA. It's cheap, it's anonymous. Or so he hopes. But this sequence is where the claustrophobia of the book really sets in. He is in his room, trying to rest, trying to figure out his next move, and he looks out the window.
And he sees them.
He sees the blue uniforms, the police are gathering on the street below, no sirens, no flashing lights yet, just a silent, tightening noose. He has been made.
How did they actually find him?
Someone spotted him, maybe the clerk at the desk, maybe someone on the street. It doesn't even matter. The system worked perfectly. That $100 reward did its job.
So he is completely trapped. He's on an upper floor. The cops are coming in the front door. He needs a way out, and he doesn't have a weapon. Not a real one anyway.
This is Ben Richards at his absolute best. He is improvised. He is desperate. He heads down to the basement.
The basement. That sounds like a total dead end.
It is, usually. But he's looking for a maintenance exit. He gets down there and he realizes he doesn't have time to pick a lock or find a secret tunnel. The police are seconds away, so he creates a diversion.
A massive diversion.
He finds stacks of old newspapers and trash near the huge furnace. He rigs up a crude delay with a lit cigarette and a book of matches, or just lights it up directly, depending on how you read the chaos of that moment. He turns the gas way up on the furnace.
He's building a bomb.
A huge firebomb. He lights it and runs. He finds a sewer grate, a storm drain, and pries it open.
Just as he drops in.
The furnace goes up. The explosion is massive. It literally blows out the side of the entire building.
It kills 5 policemen.
Yes. And this is a major turning point in the narrative. Up until now, Richards is essentially an innocent man. He hasn't hurt anyone. He's the victim. But now he has real blood on his hands.
And the network just loves it.
Oh, it is a gift to them. They go on air and scream, cop killer, terrorist, mad dog. They show the bodies. They don't mention that the police were actively hunting him like an animal. They just show the violence. It justifies everything they want to do to him. It removes any shred of public sympathy he might have had.
But Richards is gone. He is in the sewers.
This escape sequence is so visceral. King makes you feel the slime. It is pitch black. There are rats. really big ones. The water is freezing and smells of chemical waste. Richards has to crawl on his belly through this pipe that is barely wide enough for his shoulders.
It's almost like a rebirthing canal. He is going down into the underworld to be born again as something harder.
That is a great metaphor. He is descending into the bowels of the city. He drags himself through miles of this absolute filth. His physical endurance is pushed to the absolute limit. He's scraping his skin off against the concrete. It shows us just how much he desperately wants to live.
And when he finally pops out, he's not in the shiny part of the city anymore.
No, he pushes up a manhole cover and emerges into the real slums. South of the canal. This is where the people live who are too poor, even for Co-op City.
And he runs right into a street gang.
He meets a young kid named Stacy, and then Stacy's older brother, Bradley Throckmorton.
Bradley Throckmorton. This is such a crucial character, because up until now, Richards assumes everyone hates him. He assumes Bradley is going to turn him in for the reward immediately.
Right, he is just waiting for the betrayal. He is ready to fight. But Bradley just looks at him, and he doesn't reach for a phone. He actually offers him a hand.
Why? Why turn down the money?
Because Bradley explains the reality of the street to him.
Wow.
He tells Richards, we don't watch the freebie. Or if we do, we know it is all lies. The poor, the absolute underclass, they identify with the runner. They know the game is rigged because their actual lives are rigged.
There's this conversation they have about the air that really stuck with me.
The pollution theme. It is terrifyingly plausible. Bradley points to the skyscrapers in the distance where the Technicos live. He explains that those buildings have massive advanced air filtration systems. They breathe pure scrubbed oxygen.
And down here in the slums,
Down here, the air is yellow, it is thick, it is poison. Bradley tells Richards that his little sister is dying of lung cancer. She is a child, and she's dying simply because she is poor and breathing the outside air.
this hits Richards incredibly hard.
It connects directly to his own daughter, Kathy. He realizes that it is the exact same enemy. The system that denies his daughter basic medicine is the very same system that is poisoning Bradley's sister.
It radicalizes him.
It completely shifts his motivation. He isn't just running for money anymore. He is running to actively hurt the people who built this. He's moving from survivor to revolutionary.
Bradley becomes a vital ally. He isn't just a sympathizer, he's an operator. He knows how to game the system.
He really does. He figures out the fundamental flaw in the tape mailing requirement. He tells Richards, if you mail the tapes from here, they will triangulate you in an hour. But I have friends.
The network of the underground.
Bradley offers to smuggle the tapes. He can get a runner to take a tape to Manchester, another one to a totally different drop point. They can mail them from different cities entirely.
So it makes the game's network think Richards is moving way faster than he actually is.
Yeah.
Or that he's somehow in two places at once.
It creates massive confusion. It buys him real time. For the first time, Richards isn't just reacting. He has an offensive strategy.
But he can't stay with Bradley forever. The heat is getting too intense. The police are tearing the neighborhood apart looking for him.
And Richards knows that if he stays, he's going to get Bradley and his family killed. So he has to move on. He has to head north.
He is aiming for Manchester and then Portland. He's trying to stay ahead of the weather and the hunters. And this brings us to the next really tragic chapter in his journey, the story of Elton Pericus.
Elton. This part is just profoundly sad.
Richards is desperate. He needs a new place to lay low. He ends up connecting with this guy Elton. Describe him for us.
Elton is not Bradley. Bradley was street smart and tough. Elton is soft. He's a big guy, overweight, lives with his mother. He is a total consumer. He avidly watches the games.
But he doesn't turn Richards in.
No. But his motivation is entirely different. He is starstruck. He sees Richards and thinks this is like the TV show. I can be part of the big adventure. He wants to be the plucky sidekick. He genuinely thinks he is in a movie where the good guys always win.
He doesn't understand that he's in a Bachman book.
Exactly. He doesn't realize that in this specific genre, the sidekick gets eaten. He is living in a fantasy world created by the freebie, but he is about to collide violently with reality.
So he takes Richards in. He tries to help him, but there's a loose end.
His mother, Mrs. Pericus. She is definitely not starstruck. She is terrified. She sees a known cop killer sitting in her kitchen.
And she makes the call.
She betrays them. And honestly, you can't even really blame her, can you? She is a direct product of the fear the network cultivates. She calls the police.
And the response is overwhelming.
The hunters descend. They surround the entire house. Richards and Elton try to make a run for it in Elton's car.
And this isn't an action movie chase scene where they jump over a drawbridge and get away clean.
No, it is a complete slaughter. The police open fire with automatic weapons. They riddle the car with bullets. Richards is hit. He gets shot in the side. His ankle is shattered. He is in absolute agony.
And Elton.
Elton is killed instantly. King describes it so brutally. He's just slumped over the steering wheel. He died for absolutely nothing. He wanted to be a hero, and he ended up as just another bleeding body on the roadside.
It really reinforces the danger of being anywhere near Richards. He is essentially a plague carrier.
Everyone he touches dies. And he knows it. He drags himself out of the wreck. He is bleeding, he is limping, he's alone again, and he is completely cornered.
This is the low point. He is in Portland. The cops are closing in fast. He has no allies left. He has no car. He physically can't run anymore.
So he decides to stop running, and he attacks.
He sees a woman, Amelia Williams.
Just a normal, everyday citizen. She is coming out of her house or her car. Richards doesn't ask for help this time. He doesn't try to charm her.
He takes her hostage.
He pulls a gun or pretends to have one and grabs her. He drags her right into the middle of the situation.
Now, usually this is where the Stockholm Syndrome trope kicks in. In the movie The Running Man, the woman eventually realizes he's a good guy and falls for him.
Not here. Amelia is terrified. She completely hates him. She thinks he is a monster. And Richards, he treats her exactly like a human shield. He is cruel to her because he has to be. He needs her fear to look entirely real to the cops.
He realizes the police are willing to just shoot right through her to get him. A hostage isn't enough in 2025. He needs a much bigger threat.
So he invents the Black Irish.
The absolute bluff of the century.
He tells the police and he shouts it to the media crews that are swarming the area that he has a pocket full of Black Irish. High-grade plastic explosives, enough to level an entire city block.
What does he actually have?
Nothing. He is holding Amelia's purse. Or just a block of putty. It is a complete fabrication.
Right.
But he sells it with such terrifying intensity that they buy it.
They believe him.
They have to. He is the mad dog who blew up the YMCA. He's the guy who murdered 5 cops. They believe he is capable of anything. He uses his own media-created reputation as a monster to protect himself.
So the shooting stops.
It becomes a tense standoff. The chief hunter, Evan McConey, has to back off. They cannot risk him detonating a nuke in the middle of Portland on live TV.
Richards dictates the terms now. He wants a plane.
He demands to be taken to the Derry airport. He wants a Lockheed jet fully fueled. He wants a pilot. He wants to be flown out of the country entirely.
This is the endgame phase. He is forcing the network to give him clean exit.
And he drags McConey along with him. He forces the chief hunter to board the plane as an extra insurance policy.
So we are on the plane now. Richards the hostage, Amelia the villain, McConey, and the pilot. They take off.
Richards is in really bad shape physically. He is losing a lot of blood. He is gut shot, which is a notoriously slow and painful way to die. He is literally holding his intestines in with his hand. The pure adrenaline is the only thing keeping him awake.
And then the phone rings.
The video screen in the cabin lights up. It is Dan Killian again, calling from the absolute safety of his tower.
This is the moment where the bottom just drops completely out of the world.
It really is. Richards expects threats. He expects some sort of hard negotiation. Instead, Killian is smiling.
He offers him a job.
It is the ultimate corporate pivot. Killian says, Ben, you did it. You beat the game. You are the best we have ever seen. We want you on our team.
He wants Richards to become a chief hunter.
To catch a wolf, you need a wolf. It is terrifying corporate logic. Killian is entirely willing to forgive the cop killing, the explosion, everything. Because Richards generates incredible ratings. He's a genuine star. He is valuable intellectual property now.
But Richards isn't buying it. He just wants to go home. He wants his money for his family.
And that is when Killian drops the hammer. He says so calmly, you might as well take the job, Ben. You have nothing to go home to.
Sheila and Kathy.
Dad.
How? What does he say happened?
Killian says it was a random break-in. Drug addicts. They were murdered 10 days ago.
10 days. Wait, we need to do the math on that.
Richards only started the game 8 days ago.
So they were dead before he even started.
Before he stepped on the treadmill for testing, before he blew up the YMCA, before he ever met Bradley. They were already gone.
So the entire run, everything he suffered for.
It was meaningless. The money, useless. The medicine he so desperately wanted to buy, useless. The network knew. Killian knew the whole time. They let him run. They let him bleed, knowing he was fighting for ghosts.
That is just the darkest thing I have read in a very long time.
It breaks Richards. It completely shatters him. But interestingly, it also frees him.
Because he has literally nothing left to lose.
Exactly. If his family is alive, he has to negotiate. He has to survive to get them the money. If they're dead, he doesn't need money. He doesn't need to live. All he needs now is pure revenge.
He hangs up the phone.
He disconnects Killian. He turns to McConey. And the violence on that plane is explosive. Richards kills the flight crew. He fights McConey gutshot. And dying, he still physically overpowers him. He kills the chief hunter.
So now he is alone in the cockpit. Well alone with Amelia.
He turns to Amelia. Poor traumatized Amelia. And he does the one single kind thing in the entire book.
He shows her the explosive.
He shows her the black Irish. He reveals that it is totally fake. And he tells her to put on a parachute and jump.
He saves her.
He saves the innocent. He pushes her out of the plane. And now it is just him.
-0.
The countdown finally hits 0. Richards climbs into the pilot's seat. He can barely even see. He is actively dying. But he sees the city lights below him. And he sees the tower.
The game's network building.
He banks the plane. He lines it up. He is not running anymore. He becomes the missile.
He flies the jet directly into the skyscraper.
The book ends with the collision. It says the explosion rained fire on the city. It is total annihilation. He destroys the brain of the beast.
It is stark 9/11 imagery written 20 years before 9/11 actually happened.
It is very chilling to read now. But in the context of the story, it is the only victory possible. He couldn't beat the game, so he broke the board.
He took the Technicos down with him.
He proved that even an anachronism, even a dinosaur can still bite.
Wow. Okay. That is a heavy, heavy ending.
Yeah.
But it feels doubly necessary. A happy ending would have felt like a complete lie.
Absolutely. If he had somehow escaped and lived on a beach, it would have betrayed the harsh reality of that specific world. The only way to win against a totalitarian state like that is to destroy it entirely, even if it kills you.
It's a massive warning, isn't it?
It is a screaming siren of a warning. King wrote this when reality TV was barely even a concept. He saw the future. He saw that if you combine entertainment, corporate greed, and a total devaluing of human life, this is exactly where you end up.
We must ensure we look at all viewpoints from the source, though. Some citizens in 2025 might see him as a pure terrorist because of the collateral damage to the police officers, the destruction. But the underground sees him as a martyr who struck a blow against an oppressive regime. It really forces the reader to grapple with the morality of violent resistance.
It does. King doesn't give us clean heroes. Richards is incredibly violent. But the system he fights is infinitely more violent because its cruelty is institutionalized and televised for profit.
We might not have treadmill to bucks just yet, but we certainly have plenty of shows where we watch people suffer or be humiliated, and we happily text in our votes from the couch.
We are definitely halfway there. The real question is, are we going to be the audience that cheers for the hunter? Or are we going to recognize that the game itself is rigged?
That is the big question to take home. We consume true crime documentaries and internet pile-ons today like it's sport. We watch people's lives get dismantled for content. So next time you turn on the TV, ask yourself who is actually paying for this and who is running.
Indeed. We have to look at our own entertainment habits critically.
Thanks for going on this really dark journey with us into The Running Man. A true masterpiece of cynicism.
And a hell of a ride.
We will catch you on the next deep dive. Stay curious. And maybe read a book instead of watching the freebie tonight.
See you next time.